All right. Hey, legends. Dave here with the fifth ingredient, and I'm going to walk you through the scheduling and material resources planning tool here. So from your dashboard, let's pop into the schedule module. You'll see on the left-hand side all of our tanks that we give you by default. So all of your tanks should populate here. If you scroll down below, if you have the quality module, you're going to have the ability to define other equipment that you might want to perform tasks on. So if you want to run a CIP on your canner or maintenance on your centrifuge, you can define those in the quality module to have them show up here. But like I said, by default, you've got all your tanks. We've got our dates up top, and then you see our tasks inside here. So anything you see with a candy stripe like this, candy stripes are going to signify that this is a planned task. But if you see solid colors here, that means it is an actual task. We can scroll forward just by clicking and holding, scrolling forward here into the future. We can scroll back to today's date. We can do things like zooming in and zooming out by holding the control button. You hold control, you can zoom out for 2 months, or you can zoom back into the specific hours of the day that you need to perform certain tasks. Well, let's get back out here to almost a weekly view. Another thing, we are on a single line view right now, so everything is a little bit condensed. If we want to see all the tasks associated with these items, we can click here into multi-line. It'll expand out so we can see dry hops or sugar additions or other things associated with those brands and batches. If you're having trouble kind of following along with how quickly I'm doing things here, you can also always go to the usage tips up top. Usage tips will show you how to move, how to zoom, how to add tasks and update tasks. But I'm going to walk through some of that right now as well. Okay, let's go ahead and add a task. So on, let's see, Thursday, March 12th, let's double click into FV82 and we can add a task. So you can assign that task to any brand and batch. I'm just going to keep a generic task today. So we'll click on add details. It's going to it's going to show you the start date and end date for the date that we selected off the bat. By default, we're going to give you all 24 hours to complete this task. But if it's something like, hey, at the end of the day, you need to turn on your hot liquor tank, so we've got hot water for the morning, you can dial in a certain time of day that this task has to be completed, right? Category, we can come in here and select a category, ferment task, a packaging task, a distribution task. I'm just let's do a little cleaning task here. So CIP, maybe it's something like, clean gaskets on this tank. So maybe I'll want to put more instructions in here. Pull all gaskets and let's say soak and scrub. Cool. All right, maybe we'd make it for 2 different tanks. If you want to perform that task on a couple of different empty tanks, we could. Or if this was like a filter event, you could tie it from tank 1 to a bright tank here as well. We'll just keep it on FV82 for now. I'm going to go and assign that task to me. And we'll click save. And then, yeah, let's head to our dashboard real quick here. From our dashboard, we can see, oh, hey, I've got a task to perform here. So we click in and there's my clean gaskets task. So if you're assigning it to yourself, great. Or if you're assigning it to your team members or even planning it out in the future, when they log in the morning, they can see what tasks they have to complete. When they complete it, they can say, boom, done. And there's a record that task is now complete. Let's pop back to the scheduling module and let's plan a brew here for, let's say, Uni FV213. So Friday the 14th, let's go plan brew. We'll pick a brand, America's Finest Lager. Batch number is going to be optional here since this is a planned task. So if you're planning things out 1-2 months in advance and you don't know exactly what the batch number is going to be, keep it generic for now and you can assign it on brew day. So we said we're going to brew it on the 14th, so that's what's populating here. Let's see, we've got FV213 tank capacity of 250 barrels. Let's see, we go 1 subset, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to brew 6 times to fill that tank up. Make sure and plan your subsets here. This will attach to the MRP module and what materials you're going to consume. Okay, it's days in fermentation 35, so that's what you assign to the recipe when you were in recipe creation. This is going to be your 8-week lager here. So let's say that we're going to take Friday, March 20th off, and nobody's going to be there to filter this beer. We can update this and say, okay, we'll be back on Monday and make it 38 days in fermentation. So it's going to, tie up that fermenter all the way to Monday, March 23rd. We can attach this to a bright tank if we know where this is going to go. We could say, okay, then we're going to move it to BBT 250. It's going to sit in there for 2 days before we package it off. We could also attach a packaging run, but we're just going to keep it as a fermenter and bright tank task for now. Okay, cool. Click there. We can see America's Finest Lager. Here we are. We can scroll forward, and see it, right? Okay, and then I wanted to show you this bill of materials as well. A couple other things here. Bill of materials. So we said we were going to brew that on the 14th. So let's pull our bill of materials for the 14th, right? So you can see all materials needed on the 14th here. If we scroll to the second page, it's going to say materials by tank. Okay, what do we need? So you can have your team go ahead and mill this, and they can assemble the rest of the ingredients that we need for this batch. Clicking out of there, there's also a search function as well. So if we just wanted to see all CIP tasks, we could say, okay, show me all CIP tasks, or we could say, show me all brew tasks here, and we can see all brew tasks. Let's hop over quickly to the MRP module. Cool. Material Resource Planner. We see our item type here in the left column. We see our item itself right here. We see all our quantity on hand and any lead times that we've attached to it. If we had any overdue POs that we want to know about because things are depleted and we need these ingredients in badly, we'd see late POs coming in here. Then over the top, we see our week by week usage. So just taking in this 2-row pale ale, for instance, our inventory showing, yep, it's okay. We've got 34,000 pounds and change on hand. Then we look over at week 8, we can see we'll have 32,000 pounds on hand at the end of that week because we're going to be depleting 1,600 pounds. You see, as I highlight over here, it's showing 1 turn of the Aussie IPA is going to deplete that 1,600 pounds of 2-row pale. Looking up top, you see a couple things up here in the toggle. This is just showing ingredients with usage, right? So things that you have planned usage for are populating here. If you wanted to see all of our ingredients, not just what is with usage, you could see it popped up from 27 items to 101 items. We'd see our full inventory, not just what is being planned. And then we could see depleted, right? So what is going to be depleted. Okay, popping down here, let's pop down to our suggested orders, right? So you can use these suggested orders to build out purchase orders in the system, which we'll talk about purchase orders, inventory purchase orders in a separate video. Okay, so here in the suggested orders, you can see the item type, you can see the item itself, you can see quantity on hand, and then when you would need it by based on usage, right? And then there's a lead time right here. If you've entered lead times for these ingredients, these specific ingredients, right? Because, your Wireman malt might take a little bit longer to get here than your Cascade hops, right? And then it would show you an order by date. You need to order by this date with this lead time in order to get these ingredients here in time for your next batch so you're not running out. All right, that is schedule and MRP. Feel free to reach out via your brewery's WhatsApp if you have any more questions for our customer experience team, or get a hold of us at support@thefifthingredient.com. Cool. Thanks very much.